Okay, I am just kind of going through trying to make up everything that that I want in spots, and I want to put a side pocket here, but I want to do something a little different. Not so much in the designing of the actual pocket, but the actual pocket itself. And I'm letting this dry, but I got this done. So, except for I just still have to attach the back, just waiting for it to dry. So I've got that for for our closure. I am going to take these strips and I want to do like a basket weave with them. So I've got 4 half-inch strips, and this little white piece of copy paper is 8.5 by 2 inches. So that will be able to, actually, I want to cut this down. I don't want it quite 8.5. So let me double check. Let me get my paper here. This is the paper that this pocket is going to go on. And yes, I do want to cut this down because this paper is actually cut down because the page it's going on is actually 8.5. So let me mark this where I'm going to want it, just like if it was going to be any other piece of paper going onto this, where I want a line of this all the way around. Excuse me. A line of the decorative paper showing all the way around the pocket. Correct? Is that what I want? I believe so. Yeah, I think so. So I'm just going to give this a little cut. So I'm glad I thought about that before I started going, because the way I want to do it, I don't want to cut the sides off. All right. So I'm going to put this back out of the way. Back over where it belongs. Okay. So let's see if we can get this done. So I have 7 strips cut. And, whoops. So we're going to lay these out. And actually, if I get this is going to make it so much easier. Let me get some pins. Hold on. Excuse me. All right. So, let me put this back on me so it's out of my way. Okay, so I am going to line these up on the paper because I want to cover the paper top and bottom. And then I'm putting a pin, as you can see. And I'm going to leave just a little bit of space for right now in between. That's not a pin. In between each strip, so that it'll be easier to weave. See, now that's the one that matches up perfectly, and I don't want to have them match up perfectly. I mean, I guess I could, but it's not going to matter. I think even if I matched them up perfectly, they would still not look any different. So, leave just a little space, and that's just going to make it easier for our weaving. And then before we glue everything down, we will smush it back up. All right. Excuse me. I am going to start. And with this, you can bend it forward a little bit and it pops the paper up. so it's going to be easier to weave. And I'm going to weave just to the paper edge. And I'm going to pin down this first one, and I'm going to leave about a 1/2 inch or so on each side. Put this right down at my paper edge. And let's get that even. Paper edge, paper edge. So take time to really line this one up correctly, because all the other ones will line off of this one. There we go. And then we can use the same paper, squeeze, and then just snugly push this in, cut off about the same amount, and move to the next one. And you should be able to get them so they are pretty tight. Let me pull this one up just a little bit. You want to leave an edge because I want all of these to go in that. That's all I'll get out of that one. Whoops. I am going to take these ends and I'm going to fold them over the white paper once everything's glued down. So there we go. A little snippet. Fold it up. Once you have it, when you pull this up, it kind of gives you the separation, so it's kind of nice. There we go. Little cut. Again, all these strips are 1/2 inch. Come on. There we go. And another little cut. That's all I get out of that one. So I will have to cut more than 7. Keep them nice and snug. Snug as a bug in a rug. Oh gosh. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. All right. Yeah, my husband heard me in here the other day singing something. I don't know. I guess I sing more than I think I do. And he said, "Oh, honey, warm up that voice a little bit before you serenade everybody, because that was pretty bad." And I said, "Well, that's not what I'm there for." Oh, good Lord. So I'm gonna double check that I am going to be able to smooch these together a little bit, or if I have made a bad error. Yeah, I think I'll be able to smush these around and get them okay. And I'm going to do the same thing with this outside one. Now that we've got this started, I think I will go ahead and get these smushed together a little bit more so that I'm not having to do it later on, trying to fight all these little papers. Okay. Oops. Let's get this one. Okay. All right, so we're just gonna try and get these pulled together a little bit better. Let's pull these pins up here. I'm sorry, I'm barely got you in the frame. I'm just trying to go ahead and push these together, put these long strips so that they're just a little bit more, closer to the 2-inch mark than having that much space in between them. Okay, I think I've sufficiently squeezed them together here. And let's get these straight and put the pins back down again. There we go. All right, pins going back down in them. Voila. Okay. And now we will continue doing our weaving. There we go. Yay, yes. Yay, yes. And a little cut. Come on. Stay where I put you. And that's the end of that one. So let me cut some more. Let's see, where was I? I'm just going, I started at 12. I squared it off at 12 and then just every 1/2 inch. And I'm trying to set up each strip so it's exactly the same when I get to that 1/2 inch mark. Whether you're on the left side of the 1/2 inch mark, the right side of the 1/2 inch mark, or down the center of the 1/2 inch mark. Be consistent. Oh, sorry, I dropped a piece. Dropped one of my strips. You've got to be consistent. And another thing I didn't do was ink all my edges. Oh well. It's too late now. Not going to go in and do that now. All right, so we need this one and this one. And then we're just going to continue this. I'm going to go ahead and finish this and I'll be back in a second. Okay, so I've done it and I have about 1/8 of an inch of the white paper on both ends because it's not 8.5 anymore. If it was 8.5, it probably would have worked out really well. But so I've got just a teeny bit, excuse me, of the white paper. My allergies, I'm so sorry. So now, in order to get this down, I am going to start from this top piece, and I have gone and you know, really kind of pushed things down. I'm going to start gluing. Hello. Hello. Come on. Alrighty. I'm not going to start gluing. Ow! Oh, I'm poking myself with a pin. I tell you, the hazards of paper crafting. Clipping yourself with your scissors. I've done it all. Okay, so let's get a little bit of glue and just start gluing these ends down, making sure that you're keeping them, you know, everything nice and tight. And I'm just, on every other one, I'm just getting that upper piece so that I can start getting these glued down and that they're going to stay where they're at. And just going down the list. I hope everybody's having a great day. It is beautiful here. We're in the upper 50s. I think it's upper 50s. And it's blue skies. Tiny little breeze. Yeah, very nice. I spent some time out this morning doing a little weeding, take my dogs for a walk, and all that kind of stuff. I try and get them really well taken care of before I come into the craft room, so I actually get maybe a little uninterrupted. It's kind of like kids. As soon as you start getting busy doing something, that's when they want you. Before that, they don't even give you the time of day. Yep. Oh, Mom's doing something she really likes. Let's go bug her. Oh, don't you know it? All right, so we're starting to really get this thing glued down together where we can go ahead and take this pin off. All right, so there is that part glued down. Okay, now we're going to do the opposite side, and we're going to lift up this first layer and glue underneath where you're getting every other one of these glued to the underneath. So, and you could do 2 at a time here. Put a little too much glue on those. Okay, 2 at a time goes a lot quicker. There we go. I guess it's just because I'm doing it left-handed. I'm getting a little heavy-handed on the glue. Excuse me. So sorry, guys. I know it's not always pleasant hearing somebody cough or sniffle or clear their throat, but I'm doing the best I can. Okay, let's see, where am I here? I am also in spots catching the white paper. I didn't start up here, but I should have. So I started catching when I'm doing that putting glue on the underneath. I am catching the white paper, so it's starting to get glued to our wonderful little thing here, our weaved pocket. All right, now I think we can take these off. Okay, I'm going to flip this puppy over and let's get this. I can see where it's glued and where it's not because it does wrinkle a little bit. All right. And there we go. I think that's down. Yeah. So we're good. So sorry. So now, just wondering if I could do it this way. Now, I'm going to use a ruler. And I'm going to keep it on this squishy. This is a stamp pad, so it's got a little squishiness to it, but it's still fairly firm. And I am going to take a bone folder right at the edge of that white paper, and I'm giving all of these a little bit of a score mark so that they're going to be easier to fold. There we go. And down here, I am going to cut some of this longer off, but I do want it to go all the way around the paper because I think it'll look a little nicer. All right, and last but certainly not least, this end. Okay, and again, I'm just going to give these a little cut so they're just a little shorter. All right. Okay. These can all go in the garbage. This would be great to do with your leftovers. In fact, it's probably going to be... I'll definitely do something else weaving because I don't like just having a single element only once in a book. I would prefer to have it at least 2 times, if not 3. And, once is okay depending on what it is, I guess. So, we'll just have to see. We will just have to see what we see when we see it. All right, and just giving all these a good pulling over, and before I burnish them, I'm going to have a look-see on the other side. So let's see how this looks. Okay, this one looks like it needs to, but it's there. No, it's right there. I see what's happening. Some of them that are going over the top of the paper, the first long strip, the ones that are coming over it are being a little higher, excuse me, than the ones that were just folding. So my score marks didn't help me that much, like I was hoping they would. So I'm just going to have to go back and give these guys just a little bit better fold. So that they're going to be even. A little time consuming, a little fiddly, but so worth it. So worth it. And I'm so sorry. I don't know what's got me going this morning. Okay, that is much better. Much better. I'm going to go ahead and glue this side all down. If my glue is running, there it goes. I've got to fill this bottle back up. I'm thinking they're shipping this again, so I think I will just get myself another bottle. All right. And there we go. Voila! Oh, that's going to be so pretty. Sorry. So I am going to try this direction to make sure that I am getting these folded where I want them to be and not where they want. You are in my power. This is my little corner of happiness, and you will do as I please. Wouldn't it be wonderful if that worked? Yes! This is my house. This is my rules. I don't know. When did that ever work for anybody? I know it didn't work for me. My boys had to see it to believe it. And if you couldn't prove that there was a need for knowing that or doing it that way, then they didn't want to hear any more about it. And you know, sometimes it's hard to say well, yes, you do it because of this, you know, and you can't think of them until, you know, like a couple hours later, and you'll go in, but it kind of loses its 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 importance if you're doing it an hour later. And, you know, especially my oldest son, who's here with me now, he was always very smart. Well, in 5th grade, you get tested. In 5th grade, he was reading at a 12th grade level. We never had his IQ tested or anything like that. And I'm not saying that he's brilliant in that way, but he's always been a little smarter than we wanted for a kid. I guess you couldn't pull the wool over his eyes, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And you still can't, but he's a lot more understanding now than he used to be. Age will do that to you. He's 30, so he is about 10 days from moving into his new house, and he is just beside himself. He just can't wait. And I've been going through our house trying to find things that he can put in, because he left everything where he was at. His wife and her children, but they're his, you know, in his heart, they're his too. And that I totally get. I understand. So he's trying to stay into their lives and stuff, but he left everything there so that they would have things, because he didn't want to take them away from the children. And I get that. And I, you know, really love that about him. He has always been, I'd always called him my knight in shining armor, because he always is thinking about other people. And very often not really about himself. And so it does make it tough sometimes, because if he's in need, he doesn't always get it reciprocated, and he doesn't understand that. I said, well, some people are just takers, I guess, you know. It's very sad. He just doesn't understand how they can reap so many rewards and wonderful things through something that maybe he does for them, or you know, a favor, or you know, and he's doing it just as a friend, but it's because they needed stuff, because he had plenty of things he could be doing as a stepfather of 3 girls and wife. So, but he just always been that way. I'm sorry I'm rambling on about him. I'm just so excited for him. All right. So, let's flip this around now that I'm done and see what we've got. And I think I'm going to, well, I'm definitely going to be attaching this onto another strip. But isn't that neat? I love it. Love it. It's very pretty. It's busy, but yeah, I think it's really cool. And it's going on this lattice work piece. Where is it? Because I thought, you know, it would kind of, the lattice and the weave would kind of look cool together. And I think it does. Yeah. Okay. I am still figuring things out. So I will be back for you just a second, and let me kind of see where I'm at. I'm trying to make sure I have everything inked and everything ready to go, so we can just whiz through this. All right, guys. See you in a minute. Okay, guys. So now I'm going to work on the waterfall I'm going to do on this one, but this one is a little thinner than what I need. So I got off of, let me show you, off of this page, for those of you who are doing this paper, I got the strips off of both of these pages, okay? So I actually had to go back in the book and pull a strip out. Got a little bit of glue that didn't want to come off of one of them. I guess there's quite a bit on this one. Huh. Yeah, the glue on that book, man, it definitely does not want to let the pages go. Definitely. All right, I think I'm trying not to cut the paper and just get that glue off of there. Ugh. Goodness gracious. Okay. All right. So I am going to go ahead and I'm going to put down, I'm going to ink them first. That's still got a bit of glue stuck on it. It won't allow it to, come on. Oh, you booger. Okay, and that cut into the paper a little bit. So we'll try this end. All right, so I'm going to put these strips down to take up some of the space. Let's get this cut here and here. And if I make a mark on both sides of the paper, I can usually get it straight. Yay! As long as my eyeballing kind of stays at a good level there. Okay, and then I'm going to, now I've got a 1/8 of an inch gusset right there, so that might explain why it looks like I'm really wide away from the other paper. Go ahead and cut this. Hopefully these are the same length. Perfect. Yay! Man, that doesn't happen all the time. I'm telling you right now. Okay, so we're going to ink these up, put them down, and then I can get what my size of the green paper that's going to mat the center here. And then I'll know what size waterfall papers I can make. Okay, so there is that. Let's go ahead and get these glued down. Oh, take the pin out. Works better. It will allow more glue to come out. That is for sure. All right. Let's see what we got here. Okay, and we're going to place this down, leaving about as much from the score line as I'm leaving on the top and bottom. There we go. That look nice and straight. Pretty well, pretty well, pretty well. Now these are the same, but I am going to flip it because I don't want the pattern to be the same on the top, you know, or have it at the bottom. So I want one on one end and one on the other. Oops. All right. There we go, right here. Same as the ending. Oh, let's pull this up just a smidge. Come on. Dang it. Dang it. This didn't do right. Hold on. I have to redo this one. I think I got to take just a little smidgen off. There we go. Let's ink it back. Excuse me. I'm just making sure. Oh, well, that's not very straight. You know me in straight lines. I have a hard time with it. These were the same length, but apparently my paper might, no, it's 8.5 because it matches right up with everything else. So I don't know, but I'm not going to worry about it too much. Let's get this nice as we can because it's a handmade item and we are allowed to have some boo-boos. And I still am not getting it, but I think my glue is still sticky enough. A little bit more. Here we go. I think my glue is still sticky enough. There! Voila! Voila, voila, voila. All right. So now we're just going to figure out this right into the center. So I'm going to make a mark up at the top, and then I'm going to make a mark at the bottom, and I'm going to line that up in my cutter and get that cut, and then I'll be back once I pick out the papers and figure out how I'm going to do this. So I'll see you back in a second. Okay, so I've got it in between the two papers, and we're going to go ahead and close up shop here and start with this. Let's see now. I think I want to do this with gray, and I think this is the only one. I don't think this is, that's only 3.5. And this is almost 5 inches, but that's not going to be enough. Okay, so I have one partial piece of gray that I can use. And we're going to make this the same size as the green. So just line it up with the green. Make your mark where you want to cut it. And in a second, I'll tell you how wide I have mine. Okay, so this is 5. Oh, of course, this is 8.5. But this is 5 inches across. And that is 12.6 centimeters. But you can make them anything you want, but it's just easier if the paper you're putting them on is the same, because then you can line it up and you know you got it right every time. Okay, so I'm going to make this 5, and I want like 4 1/4 for the actual flap, and then add a 1/2 inch for the hinge part. So that's 4 3/4. So it'll be 5 by 4 3/4. And this one is 8.5. So I'm only going to get one out of here, which is a bummer. But let's see. If I make them 4 1/4. No, won't work. 8 3/4. I mean 4 3/4. Here we go. So we've got 5. Well, I know that says 5, but it doesn't match up very well. Huh. This actually does look a little crooked, but when I measure it out, it's 5 inches there. And 5 inches there. It's just a little bit wider. So I'm going with 5 inches. And up top we might be a little bit longer than down below, but I don't want to make them smaller than 5. Okay, so on the 4 3/4 side, on the 5-inch side, wait a minute. On the 4 3/4 inch side, we're going to, you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and do, yeah, 1/2 inch. Let's just do it a 1/2 inch. So we're going to, I don't know how many we'll get on here, but we will probably get on, let's see. We do one every 1/2 inch, and I go down about a 1/2 inch. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and that's 4 inches. So we're probably going to get 7 or 8. So let's go ahead and cut 7 or 8 of these, and then I'll get back to you. Okay, so we're going to start from the outside here. Now I've taken and cut myself a little square off of the same paper so that I can hide my magnet for the closure on this die cut. Get my magnets out. And I am going to put the first one. Oops, where'd it go? Huh. I'm going to put this first one. Come here. There we go. So, I'm going to put it somewhere right in here. And then I'm just going to place this, and it's going to kind of blend in once this goes down, and you won't see it. Let's see. Let me see here. Well, I could have moved it over a smidge more. Let's pick it up. And put it right here. Let me glue that back down. Yeah, this paper is a bit easy to pull up. Let's just put it that way. It is rather easy to pull up. Well, and I don't like it there either. I need to find about in the middle of that area. So now I'm going to put some glue on this piece. Again, not over the top of the magnet. And then I'm just going to place this down and try and match it up just so it doesn't show quite as much. But this way your magnet won't show either. And we don't want all the inner workings being just right out there for everyone to see. We want a little mystery. Just a little mystery. Okay. So there, now to the naked eye. You can see it, but it's a whole lot better than just having the magnet there. And then once we get this piece on, I am going to trim off just a little bit of this corner because it still sticks out. Let's see if that works better. Trying to get it where you won't see it in the open oval. There we go. I didn't want to see it in this space here, and so I just cut it back enough where it wasn't going to show. So there we go. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this down, and then we're going to move on to getting this page pulled together. So I'm doing the outside on this page, and we got to kind of work quickly. Oops. Because as we all know, this dries fast. And then we're going to do the outside of this. And all the rest of this goody stuff. The outside's getting done, so you don't have to worry about that. Just these inner pieces. All right. Let me move this for a second. And let's put this down. Let's get it right where we want it, so it's almost like it's just one big thick piece. There we go. Wonderful. Got little bits of stuff that need to get wiped off. Okay, so there we go. That is all done and ready for when we get this part done. So now, and then I've got the other magnet I'm just going to set on there until we're ready for it. Which the other magnet is going to go underneath this page. I'm going to go ahead and glue this one down. Okay. And when we finish the build, then I will go and do some decorations, and I'll, you know, come back and show you what I've done. That is a little short, but it's actually working out just fine. Oops. There we go. Okay. Now this one, we're going to glue it down. And this one's going to have the little pocket, which I did cut out, but I haven't cut it the length that I'm going to do just yet. Because I'm actually going to do a hinge with the paper so that the pocket's a little better size. There we go. Love it when a plan comes together. There we go. And now this, I'm going to give myself a 1/2 inch hinge, flip, whatever you want to call it. Flip, flap, flippity flap, flippity, yeah. And then I'm going to utilize me pencil right where I want it to get the other score line. just put it in between two of those notches so that we can put the score line right there. And let's cut off a 1/2 inch. That's ready for something else. Well, I guess I'm more like a 1/4. It's more like a 1/4. There we go. Remember your housekeeping. Let's get everything back in its place. There we go. And we're going to make ourselves a nice little pocket right here. And that'll look super cute. Super cute. And let's see, I have inked everything. And here we go. Get this pocket down. And I'm just running it with the edge of the mat that I'm putting down. I am not taking it down to the bottom of the page. There we go. Isn't that cute? Yes. Okay, now this. Now, I want to place this where I'm probably going to be putting it, because I want to be able to find the center, which I think is about right there. Okay, so right where these little hooks are, I'm going to go just below that. All right, so I'm going to put that eyeball in it, top to bottom. And right there. So there's that. Wonderful. Okay, so now I apparently got 2 negatives, so I can't use the little tape that comes off, because I'll have to use that on the other side. So we're going to flip this over. I want to make sure that the 1/8 of an inch gusset that I've got here is straight up, and I want to make sure that this 1/8 of an inch gusset is straight up, not too far forward, not too far back, and they are. And then we're just going to put that down and push down that score tape and pick it back up, and there we have placed. And I am going to take some tweezers here, and I'm going to pull off, if I can, the backing, at least off the part that is exposed. There we go. So that it'll have some ability to stick to my paper. And there's that. And we're going to glue this one down. Alrighty. I know I'm kind of quiet tonight. It is night. My husband's in bed already. My son has got his evening shower and is in bed. Not really trying to go to sleep yet, but, you know, working on it. And so I'm in here doing my thing. Everybody on the internet, I don't have cable. I have satellite. And so we don't get to watch too much TV or anything right now because everybody is home watching TV and playing games, and so it's been bad. It's been bad. Okay, so there's that part, and we click successfully. Okay, open this up. Now this is my waterfall page, so let's go ahead and attack that. And then the rest of it is probably just going to, well, I've got one other page I'll do with you, and then the rest of it's just gluing down. So I will not bore you with all of that. So this is this piece that goes in between my two little strips that I put on the paper. And it is exactly the size of my, which I had already given you the measurements. And I did use the green paper instead of the gray for my flaps here, because I would not have had enough gray to get this done. Now, do I want to start all the way up at the top? I don't think I do. I am going to use my board here, and I think I'm going to go down about a half an inch. And I should be able to be straight just by measuring up the, you know, each side. But this way, there we go. I like that. It's such a pretty green. And there we go. Not really. Okay, there we go. And now all we do is, of course, just butt up the rest of them, and you'll be able to see as I put each one on what I've chosen for my paper. And we're just going to butt this right up to this piece. And come on, get up there. All right, come on. Work with me here. Work with me here. There we go. Oh, goodness. I guess I'm just tired. I've been trying to fit in so many things. You know, this whole staying at home stuff. I tend to be a hermit anyway. I like being at my house. I like being, you know, not going out a lot. And, well, I hate shopping, except for craft shopping. I mean, groceries, everything. I just don't like doing it. My husband does it most of the time, and that just makes me tickled pink. And he is very careful about, you know, getting the deals and looking to see what's on sale and the manager specials, all those kind of things. It's so cute. And so he gets into that, you know, because mostly I was a stay-at-home mom once we got children. I think for the first 10 years of our marriage, we both worked full-time. And then we got our children and I became a stay-at-home mom, which I was very blessed to be able to do that. And I loved it and was very domestic and cooking and baking and all that kind of stuff. And then, the kids get older. You go back to work. Pretty much once they get into middle school, it's like the teachers don't want much to do with you. At least the teachers at my son's middle school, because, I thought, oh, well, now that I've got one in middle school and one in elementary, I'll only, I'll work a little at one school and work a little at the other school. Well, the other school, no, nobody wanted to take me up on it. And I'm like, okay. Because I was homeroom mom for both boys in every one of their classes. And I graded papers for the teacher. I organized stuff for them. And one year my son's teacher was pregnant. And she would by Friday, she was exhausted. So I would come in and not really teach a class for her, but I would organize like a little play. Everybody had to read a part, and they had to, I would bring things that they'd have to dress up to look like the part that they were reading. And then they'd have to get out of the clothes real quick and give it to somebody else, and then they'd have to read a part. And so it was very fun. She got to just sit and relax. I do stuff like that all the time. I had the time to do it, and it was fun, and God, I enjoyed all that. But as I'm rambling on, I'm getting back to my point of enjoy being a hermit and staying at home. But I think because I have to, I'm not enjoying it so much. I had to do a teleconference call with a doctor 2 days ago. So I had to go up because we don't have good cell service or anything else out where we live. It's totally okay because we love our property and we love our house. But so I went and sat in the McDonald's parking lot for a little over an hour with a conversation with a doctor. And then I went to the post office and got our mail because we have a post office box. And then came home. And that was exciting. I got to get out of the house. Didn't talk to anybody, didn't see anybody, just those two things. Well, obviously I talked to the doctor, but, no town folk, no neighbors, no nothing. Just picked up my mail. And you feel funny when you're walking around somewhere and somebody walks by and you're going way around them like they have BO or something. And you're like, I'm sorry, I'm supposed to do this, but it makes me feel funny. Okay, so there we go. And it ended up being about 3/8 of an inch left on the bottom. And I'm okay with that. So I got a 1/2 inch at the top and about 3/8 at the bottom. But I think that's really pretty. So now we're going to place this back in here and glue it down. And that is, closure. Glad you guys thought of that. Let me come back to that. Okay, so for here, I want to cut out a piece that I am going to stick this braided pocket that I did. So let me just get this cut down. And let me go ahead and just give this just a little darker edge, because it's not white core, but just to give it a little darker edge for a little bit more contrast with the pocket. And let's glue this down. And I'm not going to make this like a double pocket or anything, because with all these little pieces of paper, things will just get stuck in there. So I can't even get my glue to go over the top of it without it hooking up. So yeah, we're just going to put this whole thing down. Make sure my corners have got some good glue on them. And lay this down. Oh, well, I did get it just the right height, so I don't have any gray on the top or the bottom, which is okay. Yeah, I got a little bit of gray on the top. I like that. And then the bottom just matches right down with this. So you can do it either way, but you will end up with a little gray from this along this back end. So that is going to be just fine. Let's get this down really well. And I did definitely get enough glue in the corners. But that's good, because it's kind of bulky and I wanted to make sure I got it down. There we go. Okay. So, now this, I could take some of this off. Is this my piece for here? Yes, it is. Okay. I could take some of this off because it's not all going to get used. And then I'd have another strip. So let's see. Okay, and this is going to have to be cut down a little bit as well. But let's see. Let's take off this right there, just to give me another little strip of paper. Okay. And we're going to glue this down. This paper is just so pretty. I'm having a lot of fun working with it. It's a little different than what I'm used to really working with, but I bought it because I liked it, and that's why we're here making something together. I could not figure out what I wanted to do for this next project of mine, so when I finally decided on the paper, it kind of made my choice up for me. I'm just taking off a smidgen of the gray paper because it is just a titch longer. And there we go. Perfect. All right. Now I'm just going to glue on the 3 sides and try not to get it too away from the edge, because we don't want to lose too much of our pocket. But for thickness sake, I am not going to be putting a hinge. Now you totally could if you'd like. Putting a hinge on each side and putting it down so you'll have the total pocket to use. But there we go. Even up and down. Good. Good. can get that right there. Alrighty. I like it, and I love the texture. It just really adds to the page. And the next one I'm doing, I'm gonna do this again. So if you guys didn't get it the first time, I still need to figure out my closure for this. I will probably just do no, I think I decided I didn't really like that. I think this would work nicely, this Sari silk, but it's going to be pretty bulky unless I can really get it flattened out. Let's lay this down and then bring this around. And see, that's actually two different colors right there. Yeah, no, don't like that. It's just too big. So, I will have to come back with you on that one. But that's going to be there. So, isn't that pretty snazzy? I love that. Then we're going to flip this. And I'm glad I don't have it in there for this one because I'm going to piecemeal this together. And then I'm just going to glue this down off camera because it's just a piece of paper. And I like how this comes straight across here. That was another reason for fussy cutting that out and having it just go straight across. All right, so I have this piece I want to use, and this, I think the pink color, and I want to use the flower. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is cut this flower where I want it. Let's see. Well, are you crooked? You might just be. Oh, no, it works well that way. So it must be. Let me pull this down just a little bit. And I'm going to cut it here. And here. All right, because I think my fold maybe is not, no, it's, I mean, there is a titch off, and that is it. Oh, don't need that. Okay, so let's see. Oh, this way. Yeah, there we go. Okay, and I did ink some of the sides, I think. And I'm going to go ahead. Yeah, see that little ink pad, ink, yeah. Oh, what the heck do you call those things? The pads that go onto this thing right here, whatever you call that. It's starting to fall apart on me. Okay, so we want it top, bottom, and sides. Beautiful. And there we go. And then I think I'm going to take this piece and cut it right there. I get lots of little pieces now. But So this is one way of using up your pieces. And we've got a little pencil mark on there. Let's ink up this side. And glue this down. There we go. So you want this to be the same size. It's not a pocket. I will be adding a pocket. Okay. Let's see. And we can do this. But it's not quite wide enough there. What else do I have? Let's see, I have this. So I think I'm going to do this right here. And cut this. Oops. Okay, eraser mark. Ink. And we're going to put that right like that. And this is actually going to be a pocket. I'm not going to glue this one down just yet. And let's see what we can do with this. I think I'm going to have to put just a, I don't know, maybe I won't. It's not too bad. I think I'm just going to glue this down. Actually, I think I'm going to make this a pocket coming from the top. So I'm going to put glue on 3 sides. And that will help break up this piece here. And I'm just matching up the sides. Okay, so we have a little tuck spot here, and then we've got this piece that we're going to match up, and I'm going to shorten this just a smidge. There we go. Let's get that inked. And we're going to put glue on 3 sides of this. And that way I have 2 little tuck spots in here. Line that up with the edge of that paper. And line it up with the edge of that paper. And there we go. Okay. Shush, shush. Get way too loud. So now I have a little tuck spot right here and a little tuck spot right here. And I really like this one because I can make one that's going to break this pink up. Because more than likely I should have done like a piece about this size here and then another little piece here. Would have made the patchwork a little more interesting in my view, instead of having 2. But having something coming out of here will make it look much better. And then this one, I do believe I am just going to glue it down. great place for 2 pictures. So you've got one here. Oh, where'd my other one go? Well, you've got one here and then one down here. So you totally can cover this up with pictures, which is what these things are all about. Getting your pictures in here. You know, I have made a lot of albums in my day, and I have sold some, given some as gifts, and used some myself. So I know the ones that I've used, they have pictures in them. But most of the time, you know, I'm either making them to sell them. I also donate. So if anybody has got a charitable organization and they're doing some kind of charitable or donations for like an auction or something, just let me know, because I will make something for you to have and send it to you for your auction. I mean, as long as you're in the United States. If you're not, then if you wouldn't mind picking up the mailing, I'll be glad to send it to you anywhere you want. Because half the time, you know, I've got all these little works of art and I'm not doing anything with them. I just keep making them. Okay, so I'm going to come back on that because I just don't know what I want to do yet. But there is our first side. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Give me some thumbs up. Every video you give a thumbs up is really appreciated. And I hope everybody's staying healthy and create what makes you happy. When we come back, we'll work on these 2 pages and start the next one. Talk to you guys later. Bye.